Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So we knew the Saints had a lot of work to do. They started this offseason some $75 million over the cap. And they were going to have a lot of work to do to get within cap compliance, and they have begun that process. Now, as it stands after they restructured Michael Thomas, Ryan Ramczyk, and Andrus Peat, the Saints are presently 49.9 to just under $50 million over the cap. So they still got a lot of work to do. If you remember, Mike Triplett was with us several weeks ago when we were talking about how they get all this, and Mike even said to us then, he says, I've covered this team for so long, I've gotten good at how they do the math. And he estimates there's still $100 million roughly in restructuring they could do, which would free up, if they wanted it, some $50 million in cap space to spend on their free agents, be it Jameis Winston or Teron Armstead or Marcus Williams, or outside free agents if they want to get a deal done for a trade deal that will cause them to extend a player like Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers or whomever it may be. That remains to be seen if that can get done. But I think my biggest takeaway right now is restructuring Michael Thomas. And this has got to be, once and for all, the final declaration that Michael Thomas is not going anywhere, okay? I've told you this for months. A lot of you kept poo-pooing it. Not all of you, but you know who you are. And you've thrown out ridiculous suggestions like, should they cut him? Should they trade him? He's a cancer. Get rid of him. All the fan echo chamber stuff that you hear at times. And I've tried to explain this over and over and over again, that Michael Thomas was carrying a dead cap number north of $20 million. It was basically going to cost you $20 million to not have Michael Thomas on your roster. Well, now, since they have restructured Michael Thomas, his dead cap number has ballooned to $37.265 million. Essentially, if Michael Thomas, if you're watching with us here, I'll even highlight it for you so you can see. Here's Michael Thomas right there. If Michael Thomas is not on the Saints roster, this is his dead cap number, $37.265 million. It is going to cost the Saints $7.8 million to have him on the roster. It's going to cost $37 million if they cut or trade him. You're not carrying a $37 million dead cap number, nor were you carrying a $20 million dead cap number to have one of the best receivers in the NFL leave. The New Orleans Saints were dead last in the NFL in 2021 in passing offense. And say this again. The New Orleans Saints were dead last in the NFL in passing offense. In no reality are you better without one of the best receivers in the NFL. In no reality. So, you want to know how to start rebuilding the passing game? Get Michael Thomas back in the fold. I know. What happened last year was unfortunate, okay? It was. It was an immature decision that Michael Thomas made to ghost his organization, the team that committed $100 million to him. The reality around that situation is, I've talked to plenty of people within the organization, Michael Thomas was not comfortable with the doctors he talked to. He did not want to have surgery. He thought he could rest, let it heal, and get through it without surgery. And it didn't work out that way. He showed up for OTAs. He was running around. He had a setback. And ultimately, they had to have surgery. It cost him the whole season. That sucks. It sucks. There's no way around it. And it's a learning lesson for him, obviously, because that's not the way you act as a professional. You have to communicate and keep those lines of communication open. Absolutely. But to suggest Michael Thomas is a quitter or doesn't want to play or anything like that, hell, y'all, he played throughout the whole 2020 season on the bum ankle, kept coming back early just to get out there. You are better with Michael Thomas. It's stupid that I even have to verbalize that, but it's true. if it's Jameis Winston or whoever is the quarterback for the Saints in 2022 and beyond, that player is immediately a better player because 13's on your team. And he's going to be on the team because when you look at Michael Thomas's contract now, the dead cap number this year is $37 million, like we talked about. When you look ahead beyond this year, next year the dead cap number is $25 million, and the year after that the dead cap number is $13 million. This is the dead cap category right there. It's 37 this year, then 25, then 13, then it drops to 5.8 and 2.9 million. So you have Michael Thomas on your roster, and it's not even a question for the next 3 years. There is almost no imaginable scenario where in the next 3 years you don't have Michael Thomas playing for you. So he's there. We do not have to have this conversation anymore. Same can be said for Ryan Ramczyk, and the reason that is really relevant right now. Look, Ryan Ramczyk's awesome, and no one's suggesting that he should be gone, right? But what we have talked about a lot this offseason is if you do a deal for Russell Wilson or for Aaron Rodgers, what it's going to cost. And the most recent example of what set the market was the Matthew Stafford deal last year. And the Rams sent 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff to the Lions for Matthew Stafford. 2 1s, a 3, and a starting quarterback. So when you start looking at the Saints roster, hypothetically, if they want to do a deal for a starting quarterback, you're going to send at least 2 1s, a 3, and a starting player. Well, who is that? Well, when you start looking at the dead cap numbers, that's going to give you a really good indication of who it might be and maybe more importantly, who it won't be. It's not going to be Michael Thomas. We now know when you look at Ryan Ramczyk's deal, the Ryan Ramczyk restructure brings his dead cap number this year to $37 million. So it's not going to be Thomas. It's not going to be Ramczyk. Marshawn Lattimore has a dead cap number of $40 million after they restructured him a year ago. Cam Jordan has a dead cap hit of $21 million. So it's not going to be any of these guys. It's not going to be Thomas or Ramczyk or Lattimore or Cam Jordan. When you look, or even Alvin Kamara. Kamara carries a $20 million dead cap number as well. Who it might be are guys still on their rookie contracts. And there's 2 that come to mind. And it's Eric McCoy and CJ Garner-Johnson. Those are the only 2 players that it makes sense financially for the Saints and for another team that if they wanted to do a deal with the Saints that included picks and a player or 2, those are the 2. Eric McCoy and CD Deuce. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that the Saints are going to trade one of those players. What I'm saying is if they want to do a deal that includes a starting caliber player, those are really the only 2 right now that are above average quality starting players in the NFL that make sense financially for an opponent, for the trade partner, and for the Saints to do a deal. So my preference would be that Eric McCoy and CD Deuce play their entire careers in New Orleans. I love both of them. I think they're phenomenal. But if it's that or bring in a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, I'm going to take the quarterback because the quarterback's going to give me a chance to win a championship. You had those guys last year, and you were 9-8. Give me my opportunity to win a championship. And if it takes giving up something of value to get something of value, you have to do it. It's going to be a very interesting offseason for the Saints, and it'll start coming up in a few weeks whenever the league year starts. The Saints will be within cap compliance, and we'll see what move they make at quarterback. And once that domino falls, everything else can start to fall in place. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.